Alrighty, good evening everybody. Welcome to DuePoint. Welcome to everyone who's tuned in around the country on our live broadcast this evening. My name is Rob van der Bijl. I am one of the executives here at DuePoint. I'm going to be spending about 45 minutes with you as we go through this business proposition. We'll discuss a little bit of background on DuePoint, how it was formed, when it was formed, some company structure, just to lend a little bit to our credibility here. You might not have heard of DuePoint before, but I hope it'll become a very, very familiar brand to you going forward. And then after the presentation, and certainly in the presentation, more importantly, we'll be discussing the benefits of this business, and that's why you're really here. But after the presentation, you're welcome to come speak to me, ask me any questions that you might have. Okay, let's begin. As you can see, we're a division of another company called Constantia Insurance Company Limited. Constantia is a registered insurance company in South Africa. We were founded in 1952. We've been operating very successfully in the insurance space for 70 almost years. You might not recognize the brand, right, unless you're one of the people that have paged to the back of their insurance policies and looked at who the underwriters are, because Constantia has always typically been in the business of underwriting other UMAs. They've never been in the public space. They've never marketed themselves to consumers, but for the first time through this division, DuePoint, we are targeting consumers directly, so you'll become a lot more familiar with this brand too. The FSP number that we operate under is that one that you see over there. That's very important. That means that we are regulated by the FSCA, previously known as the FSB. We've got a host of financial licenses, and those are on display above the water cooler outside in the foyer. So we've got a long and short-term insurance license, we've got an investment license, we've got the FSP license, and then we've also bothered to put up our credentials with the Direct Marketing and the Direct Selling Association. So go take a look at those, scrutinize those, go onto our website, go onto Constantia's website. I need you to start having trust and growing trust in this business that we're going to be speaking about. Belief in this business is fundamental to becoming successful here at DuePoint. And there'll be a little bit of requirement, a little bit of a small leap of faith initially as you start to become more familiar with us as a business. But we understand that credibility is extremely important. No transaction can take place without trust being one of the building blocks to that transaction. And so I want you to do what you need to do to at least see us as a very legitimate business opportunity that's being presented this evening. The managers and executives here at DuePoint are these people up on screen. So starting with our three accountants on the far left there, they are registered chartered accountants. That sounds very important, doesn't it, if you're a registered chartered accountant? Makes me and Jane seem like we're not as important. But nonetheless, they are fairly integral to our business because they look after a lot of aspects, a lot of important operational aspects in our business, auditing requirements, the accounting requirements, and most importantly, mitigating the risk around regulatory requirements in our business. Mr. Benfield's our senior executive. He heads up this division. He's got a lot of experience, almost a lifetime, I would say, experience in financial services, particularly in insurance, because his father has been very successful in the insurance space. Dr. Brian Benfield is a professor of insurance. He taught at Wits for 25 years. He founded Clientele Life. He founded the IFA. He has CEO'd many insurance businesses here in South Africa. He started businesses in Europe. So they've got some, well, awesome financial pedigree in the family. So we're very lucky to have Brendan heading this division. And then myself and Jane, as I said, we're the two non-accountants. Still important, even though it looks like the accountants are ignoring us, right? They've got their own clique. When you talk about Excel formulas, no one else wants to talk to you anyway. Nonetheless, Jane and myself. So Jane, very experienced in direct marketing, network marketing, referral marketing. She is from the UK, so she gathered most of her experience overseas in Europe. And her experience is integral to our business because we're an insurance company. I hate it when we get labeled a network marketing business. We're not a network marketing business. We're an insurance business. The marketing model that we've adopted at DuePoint is a network or a referral marketing model, right? That is the only network marketing aspect in our business. But it is important because we are completely reliant for our growth with regards to network marketing or referral marketing. And that's where Jane's expertise comes to the team. And then myself, I've been working in advertising for over 25 years. I ran my own agency for 15 of those years fairly successfully. I say successfully because we didn't retrench anyone while I was working or running the business for 15 years. I think you can deem yourself successful, right, if you don't have to retrench anyone, especially in today's times. And we also, our agency operated quite heavily in the financial space. We did a lot of work for the big banks in South Africa, specifically Investec. That's really where I cut my teeth in the digital marketing space. But that's our senior team. We've got our client service staff, we've got admin staff, the mandate of which all the staff here at DuePoint are very focused on supporting everybody that joins us here at DuePoint. It is in our business interest to make sure that people that decide to collaborate with us in this business are being effective, that they're profitable. Everyone wants to be profitable, right? And ultimately that you're happy. Because the longer I can keep you here involved and happy, the better for both of us, right? Not only for ourselves as business, because really we become partners in collaborating in the same business together, and we get to reap the rewards and the successes together. So no, you're certainly never alone when you join this business. All you have to do is just lean into the support. We have created an entire network of support for people that get involved in this business. Just lean into it. There is a lot waiting for you to help you succeed here at DuePoint. Very quickly, we look at the circumstances that we find ourselves in South Africa. Sheesh, just seems to be getting worse every single week. Right? I don't even have to make this stuff up. Right? Every single week for the last 3 years, there's something different in the news. Perhaps you're one of those people that have chosen to actively ignore the news, right? Just so that you don't fall into depression. So there's a number of things that we usually discuss here. Debt is a crippling factor with regards to personal finance, especially in the current state of affairs, where people are really not in a position to get on top of their debt. They're actually getting in a worse financial position, primarily because inflation is just beating the death out of what our salaries are increasing by every single year, or the lack of the increase in salaries. And for people that start getting older, you'll realize that comes to a head, because I think, well, for me at least, I only really started thinking about retirement maybe in my mid-30s. And then you start to do a couple of sums, right? Is that a bit early? Is that a bit early to start thinking about retirement? You should start thinking about it the moment you leave school, right? But realistically, I'm just sharing my story. Realistically, I only really started paying close attention to what retirement looked like probably in my mid-30s. More from a paranoia and an anxiety point of view, right? And for most South Africans, we look at statistics. We have a lot of statistics from the FSCA that paint a picture of what personal finance looks like for a lot of South Africans. And South Africans can't afford to retire. I mean, we're not talking like 50% of South Africans. We're talking 90+% of South Africans cannot afford retirement, right? And then you're forced into this position. You know, traditionally, retirement was something that you would look forward to. I mean, you've been working for 40, 45 years, and now you look forward, well, you don't look forward, but you now dread the day when you realize that your income's going to end and you haven't done enough to put together a retirement fund for yourself. You become financially dependent, you become a burden on your children, on government grants and all of this. Your lifestyle changes dramatically so that you can now cope with your new set of circumstances. And really out of all of this, Constantia saw this as a business opportunity. We saw the opportunity to have, one, social impact with South Africans, and two, allow opportunity for South Africans to change their circumstance, to take control over their income for the first time in their lives, because surely we're all tired of waiting for the economy to change, or our industry to change, or our company to turn around, right? And so 2.5 years ago, we launched this business, this division called DuePoint, along with the system itself, which you get to engage in. And we've got a number of aspirations for the people that get involved in this business. Our business is about wealth creation. Many income opportunities out there are very much month-to-month sales, commission-based income. At DuePoint, we are wealth-focused. And so what is required when we speak about wealth creation is a paradigm shift. You know, we can't force everyone to think differently about income, but if we aspire towards creating wealth, and I assume everyone in the room wishes they were wealthy, whatever that is, that looks like, or however it is defined, it's different for everybody. But to become wealthy, you cannot be burdened by debt. And so one of the first aspirations we have for people is to use DuePoint to leverage themselves into a position where they become debt-free as quickly as possible. Who would like 0 debit orders at the end of the month? 0. How many people are parents? Majority of us, right? Parents. How about being one of those parents that tick that checkbox on the form at the beginning of the year that says pay the year up front? How many of us get to do that? 0. How many of us would like to not be stressed by the R1.30 petrol increase next month? Right? All of us, right? And when we speak about wealth, one of the biggest things is aspiring, using DuePoint to get to debt-free status. No debit orders, you pay everything cash, you don't have outstanding money that you owe anyone, because what that does is it empowers you to start creating wealth, and we create wealth. Wealth is created through the ownership of assets. If you can get into a position where you have no liabilities, you've got assets that pay out annuity income, you can consider yourself probably one of the top 2% wealthiest people in the country if you get to that position, right? We saw with the fiscus lately, what's the average debt that South Africans have? 55,000 per person, including babies, toddlers, children. That's our average debt that South Africa has currently, right? And so if you can get to debt-free status, you can certainly consider yourself one of the wealthy people. But that's the focus of DuePoint. How does our business work? Our guests this evening, you have the opportunity to join this business. Once you join us, we refer to you as wealth engineers. As wealth engineers, you have a single task, and that is to build what we call a channel of distribution. I'll show you what one of those look like shortly, but it is basically you just going out and telling people about DuePoint. That's all we require of you. As simple as that, right? And if you're successful in that process, if you can refer other people to our business that ultimately become wealth engineers and product owners here at DuePoint, that success leads to a host of benefits. Number one, you get to create an additional income stream for yourself, a second paycheck. The nature of the income that you produce is recurring nature. So this is really focused around wealth. Like I said, it's not once-off income. The income that you earn as a salary is once-off income. It is what we deem active income. If you decide not to go to work in October, how much money is your boss going to pay you at the end of October? Zero, right? If you create an asset that produces the income, the asset doesn't disappear, right? And that's why you should be spending time investing in trying to get an asset that creates the annuity income. And that is exactly what DuePoint does. This separates us from a lot of other businesses in South Africa. We get to harness the power of duplication. This is leverage. It's your opportunity to go out and build a team around you. Right? If you can go find other like-minded individuals that have the resources to thrive as wealth engineers, well, you can increase your recurring income tenfold. Right? And I'll show you that leverage with some wealth engineers shortly. Our business is flexi-time. You can do this business because of the technology that we've imposed here. You can build your channel of distribution at any time of the day, anywhere in the country. Your entire business, your channel building business, runs off your smartphone. That's all you require, right? We've got one gentleman in our business that we brought up onto stage a couple of months ago. He's got a health condition that prevents him from traveling. He is locked at home, right, because he cannot leave home. And he's been able to build a business nonetheless and create recurring income for himself because he does everything off of his phone. There's no startup capital required in this business. We've designed this business to have a low barrier to entry, right? Low risk. I don't want to stand up here and say, oh, there's starter costs. To get started in this business costs you 5,000 Rand, right? I'm not going to say to you, there's boxes of product that you have to buy this evening to get started in the business. Get you really excited about all the benefits and then say, oh, there's boxes of product that you have to buy. We have designed the business to have a low barrier to entry so that even if you're skeptical, and I trust 80% of people arrive to this presentation skeptical, that you can at least try this business without the fear of risk involved. Because you can cancel and leave this business at a moment's notice. But I'm confident enough in our business that I can develop a long-term strategy knowing that we will build trust in South Africa's market because of the system and the products that we have at DuePoint. Anyone can join. There's no qualifications or experience requirements. You get to build an asset. Your channel of distribution, you actually have legal tender over it. Right? You have ownership over your channel of distribution. If you get your recurring income to produce 10,000 Rand a month, that has intrinsic asset value. That means you can sell it. It means it doesn't retire you or retrench you when times get bad. And while your active income will certainly end if you are retrenched or you get to retirement age, your DuePoint asset will keep paying you through your 60s, through your 70s, and even upon death. The value of that asset doesn't disappear. You can seed your DuePoint channel of distribution to your spouse, to your children, to whoever you list as your beneficiaries in your will. And so know that the time that you spend investing in building this channel of distribution, you are creating legacy for yourself. I read an article last week. 50% of South Africans cannot afford to die. Well, who's going to deal with that problem once you die? Not you, right? Another statistic. There's no selling involved in our business. This is a great thing. Our code of conduct explicitly states that there's no selling required. You may not market, publish any information, distribute any information, promote our products. You may not, right? Only I'm allowed to do that. Your job is to purely connect people to the business opportunity. I will tell people about our products. Our website has got factual information about our products. YouTube has got in-depth review videos on each of our products. All you do is connect people to the business opportunity, and I, myself and Brendan, we will take over and tell people everything else that they need to know. Right? And so there's no requirement to sell, because I'm sure most of you here won't enjoy the prospect if I said to you, listen, you've got to go sell insurance products to your friends this weekend. Right? The nature of our products are financial in nature. It means we don't have stock and distribution issues. Like I said earlier, there's no boxes of product you're going to have to bother with here at DuePoint. And so that's convenient in itself. So those are the host of benefits. These are the reasons that you can look at this business system and go, well, is this worth considering or not? But your success is very much predicated on your ability to build a channel of distribution. It begins with you. You become a wealth engineer and a product owner here at DuePoint, and now you're going to go out and connect other people to the business opportunity. You might speak to 10 people, of which only 5 are interested in the business. That's fine, right? Our business doesn't require the majority of people in South Africa to suddenly decide that they want to take up the opportunity. Actually, we only rely on the minority. Right? And in this example, you've got 5 people that have decided to join. They become wealth engineers in their own right. They want to build their channels. Right? What happens is, in turn, they're building your channel. That is where the power duplication exists. Right? So this is a network marketing principle. And that's why network marketing from the outside can look so impressive. And this is something you certainly want to leverage, because if you bring strong people in on what we call your first point, that same behavior will filter into the rest of your business. My aspiration for people in this business is to build a strong, sustainable channel. That can only be done if you create a solid first point. You've got to kind of picture yourself as the CEO, and these first people that you introduce are almost like a board of directors. My point is, don't bring weak people that don't have the resources to build your channel. They will become a burden to your business. As much as you think everyone needs help in the country, you have to make a wise business decision at this point. So a lovely quote that says, give of the overfloweth of your cup. If your cup isn't overflowing, you can't start dishing everything out and trying to be charitable to everybody, right? Build a sustainable business, and then you can decide what you want to do out of it. So this is what a channel of distribution looks like. You are potentially earning income off of every single product owner that you see up on the screen, right? And I'll get into a little more depth around that. My warning to you is, we are not unlike any other entrepreneurial opportunity. Has anyone tried to start their own business? Yeah. Couple of people, right? You will understand and appreciate how difficult it is to not start a business. Starting a business is easy. You can go to Jetline and go get your business cards printed out that say CEO, and go to the Register of Companies and register your business. Now you're a business owner, right? That's easy. Making an entrepreneurial business successful is a whole nother story. Right? The statistics are against you. The odds are against you. They reckon after 5 years, only 5% of new businesses still exist. Those are pretty bad odds, right? And we are not unlike that. If you want to be successful at DuePoint, there is no way around the hard work that's required. I don't know what to tell you. I think the same people that arrive here skeptical, we have a same percentage of people that arrive here thinking, right, we're going to milk this business and be rich by December. Right, we're not one of those businesses. We're a 70-year-old insurance company that's listed on the Joburg Stock Exchange. This is an authentic entrepreneurial enterprise that we've extended to members of the public to change their circumstance. So that's my warning to everybody, right? You might be thinking, why do we have pictures of ballerinas' feet there? Because it's easy to look at successful entrepreneurs from the outside. It looks good from the outside. Anyone got successful friends? Jeez, I've got a friend I bump into at gym all the time. I despise bumping into him because he's so successful. He barely scraped through school. Let me tell you, he was the guy like at the bottom of the list. Have I passed this term? You know? And he went on and he created a massive success out of a business doing network infrastructure, installing network cables and servers and all of that. He's just bought his 4th Porsche. 4 million rand Porsche. Right? Easy to look from the outside and go, oh, yeah, he must have got lucky. Must have got a tender or a contract or he knew somebody. You dig away. That's what will reveal itself. Right? Our business is no different. No one ever walks out at this slide, so I assume everyone's like, right, carry on, we're here for the hard work. Good, okay, I will carry on. On to our products here at DuePoint. So I'm going to go through our products. We've got 4 products. Their benefit is all financial in nature. The products are not arbitrary. We've designed the products again around wealth in mind. So, for example, the first product here, Access Wealth, is an investment product. This is there to boost your asset value. Then we've got some insurance products. Insurance products inherently are there to protect your assets. And then our final product is actually not a financial product, but it is financial in nature because it's designed to reduce your cost of living every single month. So the first product, Access Wealth, our investment product, is going to cost you 324 Rand a month, of which 100 Rand gets invested into a tax-free investment fund. That's just with Sanlam. It is an actively managed portfolio. You've got full access to your funds. There's no notice period on the funds. And on top of that, we give you 120,000 Rands worth of personal accident death cover. So if you have this investment in place, you're killed in any form of accident, we'll pay out your beneficiaries 120,000 Rand. We have paid out 100% of the claims that we've received, right, since induction. So that's our investment product with a little bit of insurance attached to it. The second product is strictly insurance. It's called Wealth Guard. Wealth Guard is going to cost you 249 Rand a month. But this time you get 1 million Rands worth of personal accident death cover. And the beauty of our personal accident death cover is that we don't discriminate against age or health status. So if you at all aware of any life insurance product, often they will want to profile your risk, right? So you'll get 100 questions. The biggest one is your age, right? That immediately your premium goes up, and they'll send a nurse. They want bloods, they want medical history, family-related diseases, all of that. We don't do any of that, right? We don't profile anyone from a health risk point of view. So the premium remains the same regardless of your health status. As long as you're over the age of 18, you can take out this product. The premium's the same. The amount of cover that you receive remains the same, right? So beautifully accessible product to everybody. Family Wealth is our funeral cover product. It's going to cost you 299 Rand a month. You get 20,000 Rands worth of funeral cover. It covers up to 5 family members. You get 10,000 Rands worth of debt protection. So if you owe someone money, upon your death, we'll pay out up to 10,000 Rand for that debt that you might have. And then you can bump this cover up to 30,000 Rand as well as 10 family members. And again, there's no discrimination against any existing conditions that you might have, and also no limit on age. Well, at least the age is up to 69 to get in, but it's whole of life once you're in. All right. So this is our funeral cover product. And then finally, our Wealth Points product. So Wealth Points is 299 Rand a month. And what this product does is it aims to lower your cost of living. So think about all the expenses that you have typically over the month. We've gone and approached a number of businesses to partner with them. We've negotiated discounts with them that we then offer our Wealth Points members that you get to enjoy immediately, except for Entertainer. Entertainer 6 months. But basically we've got a data partner. You can get a gig of data for 36 Rand instead of 100 Rand. So that's like 63% discount there. ShopRite Checkers, 2.5% off your entire trolley as much as you shop at ShopRite Checkers. Hershey's is a fairly popular one. We've got a bunch of online retailers there. Entertainer offers us half price at restaurants and hotels, amongst other entertainment events. And then we've got a Jaguar Land Rover, which is a fairly new one, Eagle Ford. So if anyone's in line to buy a brand new Range Rover, anyone? No one yet? No one yet? You can go to those car manufacturers and they will make sure that you get the best price in the country and the best service. So this is Wealth Points. If you have any questions around the products, you're welcome to come ask me afterwards. But I will remind you when you come ask me about the products that the business opportunity, the benefit in the business opportunity far outweighs the benefit of any of the products. Right? Remember that. I know sometimes you think that I'm trying to snooker you into the position of buying a product, but you've got to make a business decision. Weigh up the benefits of the 2 products. Decide where your focus needs to be. All right? Way more information on our website. On the YouTube channel, you're welcome to go look up more information. Very quickly, explanation around our business model. Actually, today I even got asked the question, how does DuePoint pay all these people? How do you pay these people every single month and then take them overseas and buy them cars? Well, it's basically in the effect that, as opposed to traditional insurance companies that spend a fortune on marketing and advertising, we don't spend a cent on marketing or advertising. Has anyone seen a DuePoint logo outside of this building? Except for Facebook and YouTube, right? You've never seen or heard an advert because we don't do any marketing or advertising. Yet we still take that portion of our budget, right, and we use it. We pay our wealth engineers for the work that they do in successfully referring business to us, right, by spreading DuePoint's name out there, telling people about the business opportunity that exists. And that very basically is how our business model works. All right. So there are two ways to benefit. So this is from your point of view. Two ways to benefit as a wealth engineer at DuePoint. It's through our returns program and the rewards program. I'm going to discuss the returns program. It is the most important. It is the monthly income that you get to generate at DuePoint. We pay a base return fee of R27.50 for every product in your channel, right? But that's dependent on where the product lies in relation to you. So remember the first 5 people that you introduced in our first example. We call that your first point, right? So all the product that lies on your first point, you actually get paid double the R27.50. So you're earning R55 for every product that you refer in your first point every single month. Remember, it's recurring income. And then when those people go out and they connect other people successfully, those product owners lie on what we call your second point. And on your second point, again, you earn R55 for every single product. So if you've got 10 people on your first and second point, you're earning R550. If you've got 100 people on your first and second point, you're earning R5,500 every month, right? So on and so forth. And then as your channel starts to increase in size, the product gets further away from you, and the further away the product, the multiplier starts to drop steadily. All the way out to the 8th point, you're earning 4% of the R27.50, but we don't limit you there. So we've got wealth engineers in the space of 2 years, they've already grown their channels beyond point 30. Right? There's no limitation. From point 8, we will keep paying the 4%, in theory, to infinity. And so there is no limitation to the size of your channel. There's no limitation to how much money you can earn at DuePoint. I always go back to that saying, time and numbers. You don't have to worry about time because you cannot manipulate time, right? Unless you figure out how to manipulate time, you can start worrying about it. Let time run its course. You take care of the numbers. If you keep introducing people on your first point, that's all you have to worry about in this business. Your channel will get to the 8th point. It will eventually get to the 30th point. We have got tons of examples of people that have joined the business, dropped out 2 or 3 months later. Their channels are sitting at over 5,000 people in them. Right? Because you've got wealth engineers that are doing their own thing that you've introduced to the business. They are growing the business whether you like it or not. The question is, do you have endurance to stay in the business or not? For whatever reason, right? There's a whole training session around that, by the way. So that's the mechanics of the returns. The next question people are inquisitive about is, well, is this business worth my time? My time is worth a lot, right? How soon can I make money in this business? How much activity is required to make a certain amount of money? And so we answer that on this slide. We call it the path to success. It is a 5-year projection of what you could be earning here at DuePoint. The activity that we assume that you would get involved in is by bringing 3 people into the first month. So not the 5 that we showed in the previous examples. You just bring 3 in your first month, plus 3 in September, and then every consecutive month you only have to bring in 2 people. Right? And if you can do that into perpetuity, at least for the 5 years that we show here, after 6 months with some duplication, and we take into consideration the many negative aspects of our business, which is people that don't pay, people that don't grow the business, people that don't do anything, all of that's taken into consideration, you should be at around R2,500 after 6 months. This is the perfect opportunity to explain the difference between wealth creation and just generating income. Because if you don't leverage the income that you're generating, well, you don't change your circumstance. So the illustration for me is, imagine I gave everybody R2,500 tonight. It was your lucky night. You will thank him for inviting you because you got R2,500 for doing nothing, right? And you put the R2,500 in your back pocket. How long would the R2,500 last? It's Wednesday evening. Think about it. Friday. Oops, okay. Some people say, oh, tonight is gone. They're going somewhere important tonight, obviously. Right? And that's exactly how we all think. We all think like consumers. The economy wants us to think like consumers, by the way. But if you're focused on wealth creation, you don't think like that. Because someone who's focused on creating wealth knows the principle that 2,500 rand doesn't have spending value. It actually has more value than the 2,500 rand. So how do you access that value? Well, you can pay your debt off a little bit faster. Right? Who's got bonds? People engaged in bonds? I've been engaged in a bond for like, geez, I don't know how many years, 12, 13 years now. You've paid off, well done, right? So I think everybody aspires to owning a home, right? To actually owning the home. But typically what happens is that you go look for a house. You don't have the cash to buy a house, right? No one's got that money in their account generally. And you go to the bank for a loan. The bank says, yes, we enter into a bond contract. The bond has a term, which is how much time you agree to pay that bond off. And then there's usually a linked interest rate, right? So they'll look at the interest rate, and then they'll look at your credit history. And they'll say, right, we give you prime +2. You're paying your R1 million little apartment off over 20 years. You pay us 11,500 rand a month for 20 years. And after doing that for 20 years, you become a homeowner for the first time in your life. Right? So if you do that when you're 40, you only become a homeowner when you're 60. Right? You better start early. But you join DuePoint, and 6 months later, you're earning that little 2,500 rand that you worked so hard for 6 months. If you take the 2,500 rand and instead of spending it, you put it into your bond, the result on this example is that you'll pay that bond off not in 20 years, but in 11 and a half years, and you've just saved yourself 900,000 rand in interest that you would have paid to the bank. That is how 2,500 rand has way more value than the spending value that we give it. After 12 months, you could be earning close to 9,000 rand a month. That's in excess of 100,000 rand a year. Who would like a 100,000 rand check every January? Every January. Not once off January, every January. Because you've built an asset that is paying out recurring income. At month 24, you could be earning close to 30,000 rand a month. I want you to think, as we go through this process, I want you to think when you can tell your boss what you really think about them. When do you have enough money that it liberates you to do that? At month 36, you're earning nearly 50,000 rand a month. We keep going. At month 48, you're close to 70,000 rand a month. And after 5 years, so 5 years from today, a 5-year plan for you, if you will, you'd be close to 85,000 rand. That's about R1 million in annual recurring income. You can throw your 100,000 rand check away and imagine coming to DuePoint and collecting a R1 million check every year. Over and above your income, your day job income. Imagine being able to tell the story. My flexi-time job pays me more than my day job does. And the beauty of this is that you're building an asset. You are not starting at zero. I ran a business where we started at zero every single month. Every single month for 15 years, started zero. At year 10, I realized this is not a good idea because I'm going to have to do this for the rest of my life, right? Even beyond retirement. Most small businesses are in that position. A lot of businesses are in that position. If you get to build an asset that pays out recurring income, you're not faced with that prospect. You will be in the position. Who can think of taking a 3-month holiday currently? Or even in the next 10 years? Or ever? Have you ever thought that you would be in a position where you can take a 3-month holiday and still get paid every single month? Never, right? Maybe top execs at these big corporates, I think they get 3-month holidays every 5 or 10 years that they work. Not us. This will allow you to get there. You can argue with me and say, this is academic. That's great. These are lovely numbers. They get big every single month. That sounds great. Let me sign up. But I've got wealth engineers doing it. I've got real people with all sorts of backgrounds doing it. Some deemed to be uneducated, some educated, some with no degrees, some with even out matric. It doesn't matter. Anyone can do this business, right? And we bring them up onto stage, at least the persistent ones, not the ones that give up. We don't invite them up on stage. But the ones that persist, whether they are our superstars or if they've just got it started, we bring everyone up onto stage and they share their experience. So you can go onto YouTube and go look at the testimonies. I'm assuming that you will trust testimonies of people rather than believing in what I have to say. It's like reviews, right? You go onto TripAdvisor to the reviews. Have there ever been cockroaches at this restaurant? Let me see. Let me get the real news. This is the real news. But Renee and Henny, they've just started out. They've been in the business for 6 months. Both ran their own businesses previously. They're generating 1,600 Rand a month. They've introduced 14 people personally into the business. That's translated to 33 products in their channel, right? They've got aspirations to get to 1,000 products. So that's their big goal. They want to get to 1,000 products. They'll be earning between 20 and 30,000 Rand when they get to that position. 6 months in. See that 390,000 Rand there? That's the equivalent investment you would require to generate 1,600 Rand of interest every single month at 5%. That is the question you will ask yourself when you'll get to retirement. That's what I started becoming paranoid about in my mid-30s. How much money do I actually need to derive a certain amount of income off my retirement fund? Right? Well, there's the illustration. 1,600 Rand, well, you need nearly 400,000 Rand sitting in an investment. They generated that in the space of 6 months. It's easy to look 1,600 Rand and go, oh, that's one shop at Woolworths, right? It's got zero spending value, but you've got to think of this long term. Then we showcased a couple of our superstars. So Dani, we were running a campaign last month called The Road to Rank 9, which is 1,000 products. It took Dani 16 months to get to 1,000 products. What did that journey look like for him? In his first month, he introduced one person to the business. So you can see he was very skeptical in his first month. And admittedly, if you listen to his testimony, he'll say, I don't trust these guys. But he connected one person nonetheless. And then he started averaging 5 people a month for the next 16 months. It got him to 1,200 products in the space of 16 months. And along the way, he personally helped 13 families start generating income for themselves out of the people that he connected. Then we've got Patrick and Pumi, again, completely committed couple in this business. They had massive belief straight out the blocks in the business. Took them 11 months to get to nearly 1,400 products. In their first month, they connected 14 people in their first month, right? Throw that 3 out the window. They obviously trusted us impeccably from the beginning. They averaged 8 brand new people on their first point for the first 11 months, and they too also helped 13 families start generating income for themselves purely on their first point, right? Who knows how many in their entire channel were generating income. So that's what it looks like for some of our wealth engineers. We've got thousands of people joining this business every single month, and everybody is different. The system is identical for everybody. No one gets preferential treatment. I don't decide I'm going to phone some people and start offering advice to some and not to others. The system is there. The support structure is there for everybody. So what differentiates everybody? Well, I think it's maybe self-belief, belief in this business, set of circumstances, excuses, procrastination, kinds of things, right? But you are at liberty to decide what you want from this business. No one decides that for you. But the decision goes beyond what you want out of this business. Because if you want 1,000 Rand a month, it's there on the table. If you want 10,000 Rand a month, it is there on the table. If you're one of the people that aspire to achieving 100,000 Rand a month, it is there on the table. You have to decide what it takes to get there. Because I can't decide that for you. So the practical decision this evening, if you're interested in this business, is, well, how do I fit DuePoint into my life? Don't ever come tell me and say, I don't have time. That excuse, I don't have time. Do you like not having time? Is that a problem you like to have for the rest of your life? I don't have time. Fix it. How does DuePoint fit into your life? We've got regulars come every Wednesday night. They've earmarked Wednesday nights for business. I spent 15 years playing touch rugby every Tuesday night. Didn't make me any money. Spend one night a evening. It is up to you, right? Decide what you want out of the business. Getting started is very straightforward. It literally takes 5-6 minutes to become a wealth engineer. But then start applying yourself to the business. Read our code of conduct. Start watching some of the training, right? There's a wealth of knowledge on our YouTube channel that you can delve into. Set goals for yourself. Probably the most underestimated business principle, not even a business principle, a life principle, is people don't set goals for themselves. You read about it, you think about it before you go to bed, what you want, but no one actually sets a goal for themselves. You want to set a goal? Go write it down and put a deadline on it. That's a goal. Remind yourself about it. Because only once you set a goal can you prepare a plan or a strategy to reach that goal, right? And the plan always distills down to one single metric that you have to worry about in our business. There's only one thing you have to worry about in our business. One number. How many people am I speaking to every single month? You want to connect 2-3 people a month? Well, maybe you need to speak to 10, because 7 are going to say no to you, right? But that's the number. That's the only number you have to keep yourself accountable to. Doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't matter who says yes, who says no. You knock on 10 doors, and that's all you have to do every month, because you know out of the 10 doors you knock on, 2 or 3 people will join your business. And a year later, you're earning 100,000 Rand extra every single year because of that effort. See? The plan is easy. Get the merchandise. The merchandise is not a profit center for us. These are tools designed to help build your credibility when you go out and connect people in the business. Right? I come from an advertising background. Any transaction requires trust. This is a picture of credibility. If you sit down at a meeting and you've got a notebook, maybe you've got a pin on your lapel, you've got business cards. People immediately see that you have belief in the business that you're trying to propagate. And if you don't arrive with any of that, they think you're just a bag in the wind, right? Trying your luck. Get the business cards. For me, that is probably the most important aspect. We can send them anywhere in the country. Right? 500 business cards, it gets you off to a good start. Join our Facebook page. Very active on Facebook. There's content being produced there daily. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. All our videos, all the content that we produce is mostly in video format. It's on YouTube. But more importantly, that camera that's behind you gets turned on to broadcast live around South Africa 8 times a week. It's your opportunity to build your channel anywhere in the country overnight without any expense to you. You literally only have to send someone a link and say, watch the video. Don't worry about if they say yes or no. Watch the video, I'll phone you afterwards to find out your answer. That's all you got to do, right? So, lean into the technology. We've got an app that allows you to really monitor your business in real time. Android devices, Apple devices supported. And then onto our rewards program. So the rewards program is the cherry on top here at DuePoint. It's not as important as the monthly return, but it is certainly something to aspire to, because people get very excited about the rewards that are waiting for them in our rewards program. How does it work? Well, basically, any activity as a wealth engineer earns you what we call XP, experience points. Right? For us, it's an indicator of how active you are. If you become a wealth engineer this evening, you will start out as a rank 0 wealth engineer. To get to rank 1 is fairly easy. You need 1,000 XP, and you get XP for literally anything that you do here at DuePoint. So that takes about 30 seconds to do. You need 4 products in your qualified channel. And when you meet those 2 criteria, you become a rank 1 wealth engineer, and you get a whopping 55 Rand reward at the end of the month for your efforts. I always say to people, just take the 55 Rand, go buy a cupcake or something, slice a cake and a cappuccino, celebrate. Celebrate what? Celebrate that you're on the slide. Because what you've just proven to yourself by getting to rank 1 is you can get to any rank. Because the guys at rank 20, right, are doing the same thing that you're doing every single month. Speaking to their 10 people or their 12 people or their 30 people, whatever it is. You've proven to yourself you can get to any rank. And yes, the 55 Rand gets much bigger along this path. Right? There's 20,000 Rand checks, 50,000 Rand checks. We've got a wealth engineer in the space of 2 years, they're already halfway through here. We give tools to our wealth engineers to help them build their channels more effectively. Fancy little USB drives with all that collateral on it, plugs into any device, this little USB stick. We've got business cards that cost us 12,500 Rand to manufacture that we get made personally in your name. Think about that for a second. 12,500 Rand for 1 set of business cards. I think Patrick's here tonight. You can ask Patrick to see his business cards. He'll let you maybe touch it if you've washed your hands. Right? Again, it's a picture of credibility, because when you walk into a room and you say, I'm here to talk about a business called DuePoint, no one's heard of DuePoint. We don't run ads on SABC. And so first impressions become extremely important in this business. You throw a 12,500 Rand business card down on the table, I promise you your credibility goes through the roof. People are wowed by the business card. There's no ink on those business cards, only gold. The sides are gilded in gold, the logo's foiled in gold, no ink. At rank 9, this is one everyone gets very excited about, because it is our international conference that we take you on every single year for the rest of your life. Including your spouse, whether you love them or not. And your 2 favorite children, right? We fly business class there and back. It is a 5-star luxury resort for 7 days, all expenses paid trip. You can polish off that mini bar in the hotel room every night, and they'll restock it in the morning. Because you're all scared of the mini bar, right? You ever gone on holiday with a family to a hotel? You say to the kids, you touch the mini bar, I'm going to kill you. Because the Snickers cost 45 Rand, right? It is an all expenses paid trip, and you get to enjoy this every single year for the rest of your life. It's 1,000 products that you have to get to. One gentleman did it in 5 months. You saw Donnie took 11 months, Patrick and Pumi took 11 months, Donnie took 16 months. You decide. It is up to you. So take a look. We documented our last trip. This was the Western Turtle Bay in Mauritius. This year we are going to Heritage Resorts Le Telfair. You're welcome to go Google the resorts, see if they're up to your standard.
When all of your wind has gone and all of the paths you've drawn have sunk to the ocean sun where no one can see. You stand on at the dark embrace, cower the dreams you chase under the rust and blood. Don't let yourself give up.
So that was ranked 9 last year. We are, 3 months away from this year's trip. Like I said, we're going to Heritage Resorts Telfair. You're welcome to go. It looks like an absolutely beautiful resort. So I'm hoping that this group will get bigger every single year. On average, if you're active, 2-3 people a month, it'll probably take you about 3 or so years to get to rank 9. We don't reset your XP at the end of every year. You keep building on your asset. When you get to 1,000 products, it's waiting for you. Right? If it takes you 5 years to get there, so be it. If you want to do one person a month, maybe it takes you 10 years to get there. It is up to you. At rank 11, we spend R250,000 Rand buying our Wealth Engineer brand new car in their name. No debit order at the end of the month. That's the best car to own, is the one without the debit order at the end of the month. Right? And that is rank 11. So this is what our rewards program looks like. It goes up to rank 28. When we designed this program, we mapped out what we think is about 20-25 years for wealth engineers that are actively engaged in our business. We certainly think long term. You have to ask yourself the question, have you started thinking long term? I know when you're feeling pain, you are thinking short term. right? That's what people will default to. Any crisis becomes a very short-term experience and consideration. We need to start thinking long-term in this country. Thinking long-term, not so long-term, the next couple of months, we have got a roadshow around the country, so we're going to be visiting these destinations. You see the dates under there. My hope is that people getting involved in this business have not written off 2018. Who's written off 2018? Who's already decided, no, 2018 is rubbish? No? Still optimistic? Okay, good. I'm glad, right? Well, let's make it not only optimistic, but let's put the optimism into action and make a little bit of wealth along the way. So these are wonderful opportunities to build your channel outside of, for us, Johannesburg perhaps, for the people on the live stream, whatever towns they reside in. It is opportunity to build your channel in the rest of South Africa. All you have to do is find out one or two people that live there, get a couple of names from them and invite people. What is the worst that can happen? Right? Suddenly you got your channel growing in Port Elizabeth. Who knew there was more than just wind in Port Elizabeth? You could derive income out of Port Elizabeth, right? So we have these events. Go onto our website. There's an events button at the top of the website, and go look for those encounters and register yourself. As simple as that, all right? So certainly take advantage of the road shows that we're doing in the next couple of months. So that is it. My invitation to you is that you should come join us here at DuePoint. We've got 3 months left to the end of the year. I'm sure we would all like to be a little bit wealthier this December than we were last December, right? If you do nothing, I guarantee you, you will be poorer next month than you were last month. Guaranteed. Go look at inflation, and then go look at what your salary increased by this year. Easy calculation, right? This is an opportunity to change your circumstance. And even for the skeptics in the audience, we've designed it to be low risk so that you can consider the business without fear of losing anything. Try it. If you're a skeptic, give me 30 days. That's all I need. 30 days. 30 days, you go speak to 10 people. I guarantee you'll be richer next month than you were last month. If you can do that in 4 weeks, well, what can you do in 12 weeks? What can you do in 52 weeks? What can you do in 104 weeks if you can do that in the space of 4 weeks? It's a simple business, guys. It's not complicated. I invite any of you, if you have questions, come speak to me. Otherwise, I wish sincerely everyone to have a prosperous rest of the year. There's still 25% of the year left. Lots of opportunity. Good luck. Thank you.